Family Church. Welcome to Family Church Online. We're going to show you how to join a Facebook group. You may be thinking, well, why would I join a Facebook group? I'm already part of the ginormous Family Church Facebook group. Well, what you might not know is that we have a Facebook group for each campus. So that helps, stir things up and join communion with each other and embrace community a little bit. So tonight we are going on, each campus has a Facebook group, and tonight you can see that Russ Donahoe is going to be at the Lakeside campus Facebook group tonight. And we have Joe Kuykendall, and he is going to provide a link for you so that you can click over and join in on that campus. So if you go to the Lakeside campus, Russ tonight is going to be leading a message with Go With What You Know, Romans 8:31 through 39. All right, if you're at the Four Corners campus, you'll want to join in on their Facebook group, and Joe will provide that link for you as well. So tonight at the Four Corners campus, we have Tony Hevener talking about generous hearts. We also have Charles Cooper on East Winter Garden Facebook campus group, and he is going to be talking about, we have Tony, and he's going to be talking, it's Charles Cooper, sorry. We have him talking about women who discover unplanned pregnancy during COVID-19, choices and hope in Christ. We also have Troy Schmidt at this campus, Windermere campus, and his Facebook group tonight is talking about, For I Know the Plans I Have for You, Jeremiah 29:11. So if you've just tuned in, then good, because we have something really special for you. So tonight we are actually going to show you how to get involved with each campus. So if you go to the East Winter Garden campus, if you go to Lakeside, if you go to Windermere, or if you go to Four Corners, then there is a Facebook group for each one of those campuses, all right? So tonight we have Russ Donahoe at the Lakeside campus. He is going to be leading a discussion about Go With What You Know, Romans 8:31 through 39. We also have Charles Cooper on East Winter Garden campus group, and he is talking about women who discover unplanned pregnancy during COVID-19, choices and hope in Christ. We also have Tony Hevener on the Four Corners campus Facebook group. Tony is talking about generous hearts. We have Troy Schmidt on Windermere campus Facebook group, and Troy is talking about For I Know the Plans I Have for You, Jeremiah 29:11. All of these messages are really important during this time because we are all feeling a little out of place. So if you're just learning about a pregnancy, then you might feel even more scared because it's unplanned. Well, Cooper has a great message for you if you are experiencing that. And you can tune in on his Facebook group, that Joe Kuykendall. If you just want to open up the chat, Joe Kuykendall will be the one linking all of these Facebook group links so that you can go ahead and join them. All right? So let's do all of this again, all right? If you are just tuning in, it is great to have you. Welcome. Welcome to Family Church. So tonight we are going to be showing you Facebook groups that our campuses have, all right? So we have this great screen up, okay, so I can give you a little bit of an example. So tonight we are going to go to the Lakeside campus group, all right? And you can see that, it has a couple of members down here and 156 members. So if you go to that campus, become a member there so that you can go ahead and connect with all the people and all of the potential friends that you have there, all right? So during this time of isolation, we kind of want to just go ahead and connect with each other. Well, Russ is leading a great message tonight, and Russ is leading a message about Go With What You Know, Romans 8:31 through 39. I'm kind of interested on what that topic is, what he means by all of that, because, I know a lot of things, so going with what I know, I wonder what he means by that. So if you want to tune in, if you're as curious as I am, go ahead and follow that Facebook link that Joe Kuykendall has provided for you in the chat room, all right? Now, if you go to East Winter Garden campus, then you'll want to go ahead and click on Charles Cooper, his little, this link right here. That actually, it's not a link. Joe has provided the link for you in the chat room, okay? So tonight, Cooper is talking about women who discover unplanned pregnancy during COVID-19, choices and hope in Christ. Now, if you are new here, or if you don't even go to that campus, but that sermon rings true for you, go ahead and tune in on that talk tonight, because that is something that is actually pretty near and dear to me. I know what it's like to have an unplanned pregnancy, and let me tell you, it is crazy. It is amazing, and it is crazy, and I could not imagine going through that during COVID-19. So if that's you tonight, go ahead and tune in on what Charles Cooper has to say, because there are so many people out there who have experienced what you're experiencing, but never in a pandemic. So if you're experiencing that, go ahead and click on that link that Joe Kuykendall has provided and listen to that sermon and be encouraged, because you are not alone. Even if you are in isolation, you are not alone, okay? All right, so if you go to the Four Corners campus, or if you're curious about it and you're thinking, I think I'd want to go to that, well, no problem. Tonight you can go to that campus, all right? Tony tonight is talking about generous hearts. Now that is a pretty broad sermon, because Jesus talks about generosity a lot, all right? So if you're wondering about what that might look like for you, maybe COVID-19 is, you need some generosity, or you're feeling pretty generous and you don't know what to do with all of that, then go ahead and listen to Tony's sermon tonight about generous hearts, all right? So if you go to the Windermere campus, or if you're curious about this sermon topic that Troy has decided to talk about, Troy is talking about, "For I know the plans I have for you," Jeremiah 29:11. If you're curious about that, if you've heard that verse, you don't really know what it means, you're trying to understand, why does everybody say that? Well, go ahead and tune in on Troy's campus Facebook group. Join our church over here. And, Troy can give you some enlightenment about that. It's also pretty peaceful to know, to be honest. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord." Plans to give you a hope and a future. And maybe I just gave away the hook, line, and sinker, but you know what? That's okay. Maybe sometimes you need that. You need the hook. So listen to Troy's sermon about "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord," and get some peace throughout this entire time of chaos. I was walking through Publix today, and overhead I'm hearing, "Please remember to stand 6 feet apart from each other and practice social distancing." And I thought to myself, this is such an odd time to be alive, and I'm really curious what tomorrow holds, or if my days like this will ever end, because I feel like I wake up and I do the same thing over and over, and I miss my family. So if you're feeling that way, you're feeling a little anxious, listen to Troy's sermon, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord." If you're just turned in and you're thinking, "Wow, that really rings true for me. What is she talking about?" Well, open up the chat room, because Joe Kuykendall has provided links for Facebook groups. Facebook groups are a little, I guess, like a string, I guess you could say, of Family Church, okay? So we have the Family Church Facebook page, but we also have Family Church Facebook pages that are individualized to each campus. So if you go to the Windermere campus, you'll want to tune in to that link, or if you want to check out Lakeside campus, then Russ is talking about Romans 8:31 through 39. Go with what you know. Now, I should have opened up my Bible and written down that verse, but I do know that Romans 8 I once read for, a whole 2 months through and through, and there's nothing wrong in Romans 8. You can get so much information from Romans 8 and really be encouraged through dark times and light times. So, Russ has chosen a really wonderful place to just plant his feet tonight. All right, so if you go to the Lakeside campus, go ahead and click on that link that Joe Kuykendall has provided for you for the Lakeside campus and tune on in. If you are curious, or if you go to the Four Corners campus, you'll want to tune in to that link because Tony has a great message tonight about generous hearts. Now, during this time, you might need a little bit of generosity from people, or you might have all this love that you want to give to other people, or all these resources that you have and you want to give to people, or maybe you're just feeling generous and God is just pulling you towards giving more, or of your time, of your offering, of anything. If you're feeling that way, go ahead and tune in to Tony. Tony's link is the Four Corners Facebook link, all right? And Joe Kuykendall has that up for you on the chat room. Now, if you go to or are curious about the East Winter Garden campus, then you'll want to tune in to Charles Cooper. Mr. Cooper has a wonderful sermon tonight about women who discover unplanned pregnancy during COVID-19, choices and hope in Christ. All right, so pregnancies are always scary and wonderful, and God has a plan for you. You know, it's funny because all of it kind of blends in, doesn't it? Like, if you think about it, Cooper's talking about something that God knows the plans. So if you're going through that, you could even go ahead and tune into Troy's Facebook group, which is the Windermere campus. And he is talking about, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord," Jeremiah 29:11. So if you're having a little bit of trouble going through all of this stuff, and you're not sure what to do, then I would listen to Troy's message, because you have to know that God has this, and that He has our benefit in mind. Things that are hard, He has made for good. Okay, things that are intended for evil, that the enemy has intended for evil, God intends and turns around for good. Okay, so even the pandemic, I don't know how, but even this pandemic, God is going to turn around and make it good. And if you forgot about that, or you needed that word, I hope that you're listening to this tonight, because God knows the plans He has for all of us, and He's not going to let us go. He has us in His hands. Now, if you're just tuning in and you don't know what I'm talking about, and you feel kind of awkward because that was a little bit of a deep moment, then go ahead and let me explain. Go ahead and listen. We are here on our big family church campus, all right? So what we're doing is we're showing you that each campus has a Facebook group, just like the family church as a whole has a page. So in these Facebook groups, you can connect to all the people that go to your campus, all right? So we have Troy at the Windermere campus, and he is talking about Jeremiah 29:11, and that's what I was talking about just a minute ago. We also have Russ Donahoe at the Lakeside campus, all right? Russ is talking about go with what you know, Romans 8:31 through 39. If you're interested to talk more about the Bible, or if you're looking to really dive into something, I would go ahead and tune into Russ's message, because Russ always has really good verses to talk about, and it sounds like he's about to dive in pretty deep here, okay? Because he's got a whole 8 verses. I know that sounded sarcastic, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. We also have Charles Cooper on Winter Garden campus, all right? And he is on East Winter Garden campus. Let me not mess that up. He is talking about women who discover unplanned pregnancy during COVID-19, choices and hope in Christ. Maybe this rings true. Maybe you've had a baby. Maybe you found out you've just found out that you're pregnant. Maybe you're already kind of far along, but you're thinking, why did God make me pregnant during this time? Or maybe you even have somebody in the hospital at this time, and it still kind of rings true to you. Well, I would tune in to Cooper's sermon, because he has something in store for all of us that it's going to touch your heart. I just know it. All right? So if you are curious or go to Tony Hevener's, if you're curious about the Four Corners campus, we have Tony over here talking about generous hearts. All right? So if you want to know about giving, Or maybe even if you want to know about receiving or what God has in store for all this time, like during a time when you would feel people would be pretty closed up with their generosity. Maybe God is moving your heart to be generous. You'll want to tune in to Tony's sermon, okay? And he has his own Facebook group that if you've just tuned in, go ahead and open up the chat room because Joe Kuykendall has provided some great links for us, okay? So if you are wondering about that, again, look at the Facebook chat, okay? Just pull that on up and click on the links that Joe Kuykendall has provided for you. All right, so welcome if you are new here. We are talking about the Facebook groups from Family Church, all right? So this is Family Church. Hello. We have our own page. And there we can see Tony right there, all right? Tony's talking about his own discussion, okay? And, this is Troy talking about his, for I know the plans I have for you, Jeremiah 29:19. I might have messed that up. I can't remember if I messed that up or not. This is Russ, all right? This is his Facebook Live right here. And if you want, you can tune in and listen to Russ's message on Go With What You Know, Romans 8:31 through 39. We have Charles Cooper. Scrolling, I am scrolling. And his live is good. It's not there, not yet. It's not there yet, but it will be. Don't you worry. He's going live pretty soon, all right? So right back here, we have Troy. And he, again, is talking about, for I know the plans I have for you. This might be a really great sermon for you to listen to because, again, these times are crazy. And we don't really know what's going on. We don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what Friday holds. We don't know what Sunday holds. And for Americans especially, that's a little traumatizing, to be honest. We've never had anything like this before. And we just need a little bit of hope, a little bit of security, or a lot of security and a lot of hope. And you know what? This is the message for you. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. All right? So if you want to tune in on that, we have also Four Corners, okay? We have Tony Hevener, and he is talking about generous hearts and generous living. And it looks like his Facebook group is going great. We have Russ Donahoe over here, and he's talking about Romans 8:31-39. Go with what you know. So I think that Russ knows what he's talking about over here. And he is talking about something that, during this time of kind of like a panic, we really do just need to go with what we know. We need to listen and we need to receive, and we need to go ahead and just have peace in this crazy chaos and go with what we know and be calm and good examples for our children, for our neighbors, for our friends, and show them that we have peace with an amazing God and an amazing Father. And He is the one who brings peace ultimately, all right? Peace and joy, and He's there to give it to us even during a time of sadness, of chaos, and of a time that we don't even know what's going on with our jobs. We don't know what's really going on with the world. We're just kind of sitting back and figuring it out as we go. Well, you know what? Go with what you know and listen to Russ's sermon, all right? We're back to Troy over here, and he is talking about Jeremiah 29:11. Now, you might be thinking, because this is what I thought too, I've heard that verse a lot, and it's kind of overdone. And everybody makes it their senior graduation thing and blah, blah, blah. No, you know what? This verse is so powerful, okay? Let's go ahead and dive in to what that verse truly means. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. The plans to give you a hope and a future, all right? Hope and a future. God does not want to see us, His children, be destroyed. So let's go ahead and find peace in knowing that God is not against us. Even when all of these bad things happen, God is for us. And that should give us an extra push to keep going to that finish line because God is faithful. He is faithful, and he is always there for us, and he knows the plans that he has for you. And if you're scared of dying, guess what? There's a verse in Psalms that says, I have numbered your days, and you cannot add or take away from those days. So I know the plans I have for you. Let's just go ahead and circle it right back. God is not going to leave you or abandon you. He's not going to leave you. He's not going to forsake you. He is there with you. So go ahead and tune in. We have another one, Tony Hevener. He's the one who leads our Four Corners campus. So this is his Facebook group, and you can see that he's getting amazing time. He's getting amazing views, and he's talking about generous hearts. Now, generosity might be a little bit weird right now because there are so many people losing jobs, losing faith. Like, going to your neighbors and safely knocking on their door and saying, hey, right now, I know that you might be a little troubled to go to the grocery store, but I'm here to help. I know that you're elderly, or I know that you're sick, I know that you're compromised, or I even know that you're scared. All of these things can equate to, guess what? I can be generous and help with you, okay? Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you're thinking, what can I do to be generous during this time? What can I do to help impact my neighbor? What can I do to, am I good? So if you're thinking about all of those things, then listen to Tony's Generous Hearts. He knows exactly what he's talking about, so I would tune into that. If you're wondering about, I don't know what to do, I don't know where I am, I don't know what's going on, then go ahead and tune into Russ. He is talking about go with what you know, Romans 8:31 through 39, all right? Now, I've read Romans 8 so many times. It has the ups, it has the downs, it has the lows, it has the highs, it has the mediums. Romans 8, you can really find so much through this chapter, okay? You can't go wrong with this. This is why he's choosing Romans 8, to go with what you know, all right? So if you aren't sure of where to turn, what to do, go ahead and go back to the basics. Go with what you know, and go ahead and tune into Russ's message, all right? Now, women who discover that they are pregnant, and people everywhere plan these things, all right? And sometimes they just happen. This is a scary time to be pregnant. So if you're worried about that, I would listen to Cooper's message, all right? He is our pastor at East Winter Garden, and he is talking about unplanned pregnancy. And during this crazy time, if you are scared, or if you don't have any hope about it, if you're feeling just completely lost, then Cooper is talking about choices and hope in Christ. So, our last thing that we want to talk about is communion, all right? So tomorrow night we are having communion and worship with Pastor Chuck at 7 p.m. We are going to be live with worship and communion and Pastor Chuck at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So that will be at 7 p.m., and we will be doing communion. Now, I've had some communion on Sundays, me and my husband, while we do the live stream, and we're watching it in our house, and we may be in our PJs, and we may only have grape juice because it could be, in the morning or at night. But you know what? Grab a muffin, grab a piece of bread, grab a cracker, grab pita chips, those work. Grab anything that could resemble communion, and then pour yourself some wine if you have it, or pour yourself some grape juice, pour yourself something that could resemble, Jesus' blood, all right? And partake in it. This is going to be our communion tomorrow night at 7 p.m. with Pastor Chuck, with worship and a wonderful message given to us by our head pastor, all right? Again, that's going to be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Tune in here live at 7 p.m. for worship and communion. It was wonderful to have you. I'm so glad that you tuned into this broadcast, and I hope that this was helpful. And I hope you have a wonderful night tonight. During this time, this crazy time, we're still happy to have a way to interact with you. And we really hope that if you want to join in or are working and looking to come to a church, I hope that you can tune in tonight and see all the different messages and be encouraged that you can still do that during this time. We hope that you stay safe and be blessed, and thank you again for joining in. So